Hello friends, how are you? My name is Mike. This channel is Health and Wealth. Thank you so much for joining me today. One day I might get that right the first time. I don't know if I will. But today I want to talk to you about something that's really, really interesting to me. I think it might be interesting to you. I want to talk a little bit more about Bitcoin, BTC. I've been thinking about Bitcoin a lot lately, and so I'm a brand new investor in Bitcoin. I bet you I've been investing in it a lot shorter term than a lot of you and the audience here watching this video. But I started investing in Bitcoin right around the end of December. And actually, it's in one of my videos somewhere where I talked about how I'm going to buy Bitcoin and I'm going to buy just $100 per of Bitcoin every single paycheck going forward for the next 5, maybe 10 years. We'll see how it goes. And so, yeah, I started doing that. I started buying Bitcoin recently. How about you? When did you start buying Bitcoin? Have you thought about it? Are you doing it? Are you not doing it? Let us know in the comments below. But for me, there's a risk there that I'm willing to take with my money. So the reason I'm bringing this video up, I was recently at this place called Blue Mountain with my cousins, and my cousin asked, "Hey, you're okay with money, right?" And she was like, "What should I invest in?" And I said, "No, no, no, I'm not a professional, but I mean, you are not risk taking, and so I don't think you should take risky ETFs, stocks, things like that." And I did recommend to her that she should probably just invest her money in the VU. She said, "What is that?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh, my financial advisor already says I have a bunch of those in one ETF." And I said, "It's probably the VU." And so we continued to talk. I said to her, "Well, have you ever thought about Bitcoin?" And her and my cousin-in-law, her husband, were like, "No, no, no, no." That's pretty much the actual words that came out of their mouth. And I thought to myself, a lot of people are that way. And, I was that way up until probably November of last year. Think to yourself, do you have anybody like that in your life? And, I kind of understand where they're coming from. It's a mysterious thing. It's not a real thing. So everybody thinks, right? And so I get where they're coming from for sure. So it's, for me, it's an interesting topic because, I do come from, a family that is quite reserved when it comes to investing. They invest in traditional things, companies, profitable companies, that sort of thing, right? And so when we talk about Bitcoin, it comes with that mystery to it, right? Got a little blurb up here I want you to take a look at. And then I'm going to go over personal stuff coming up here when it comes to Bitcoin. But I read this. Do you know that there are only 4 things that people find valuable? I should say when parting from their money, right? When parting from their money. Let me know if this kind of resonates with you so far, right? So, what is valuable? So, if I'm going to part with my money, we need to know these 4 things. So, I want you guys to think about yourself and does this align with what you're saying? So, number 1, I'll part with my money if it can make or save me money. I'm going to come back to this list at the end after I talk about my story here. I'll give you my money if you can save me time. Okay. Number 3, I'll give you money in exchange in any mitigation of risk. Oh, okay. And number 4, I'll give you my money if it boosts my status. If it evaluates my status, then people will pay money. Interesting theory and strategies here. I can see number 3 for my cousin's story there. The reason why they wouldn't want to part with their money. They feel like it's too much of a risk. They don't know much about it, right? And I think that's kind of resonates with a lot of people out there in the world. And so, I kind of align with that up to December and, January of this year. I thought, what is Bitcoin? It's too risky for me, is what I thought, right? And so I completely understand where they're coming from. So I've got a few things here that I'd love to go over with you. I did do just a little bit of research. You can definitely dig deeper. You can dig way deeper into this, right? So Let's go talk about Bitcoin a little bit, the origin story of Bitcoin. So originally it launched in 2008 by a mysterious character, Satoshi Nakamoto. And so he created something called the white papers. And in the white papers, it was kind of the rules of Bitcoin, if you will, right? Now, that's a dumbed down version. That's just a blank statement talking about the rules. But in the white papers, it explained how everything is going to work. So then in 2009, January actually of 2009, that's when this first came out. It started trading at, what was it, 0.003 cents. So a third of a penny, right? And I think we've seen a lot of these like altcoins, things like that come out since then that are also doing this that sort of thing, right? Now, by February of 2011, that 0.003 climbed to $1 per Bitcoin. So it's pretty funny to think, right? It's funny to think back, 2011, we had a $1 Bitcoin. So, 14 years ago, a $1 Bitcoin. From there, if you played the hold game, Bitcoin has definitely climbed, and I've got some screens to share with you here. Today, it went pretty close to all-time highs, if not all-time highs. Let's bring this back out here a little bit. Yeah, it was hitting that 120. I think it actually hit 122,000, but it's not showing on this chart. Just for a brief moment here, and you can see here that is all-time highs, right? So I mean, if we took that $1 and brought it all the way to now, you would be sitting pretty in life, that's for sure. So if I want, I can go back to this chart right here. I'll part with my money if you can make or save me money. That doesn't really apply to that last little bit here. But I like this one. I'll give you money if you can save me time. Well, that has caught up an insane amount of money in time, saving you time for sure, right? How about boosting your status? I know you guys have a lot of people in your life that say like, "Oh, I have 1 Bitcoin. I'm a whole Bitcoiner." It is a status thing for sure. I agree. I just have a small amount and I feel lower in status because of the amount of Bitcoin that I have. It's not a lot, that's for sure. You guys can probably anticipate how much I have. I've put $100 in every 2 weeks. A few times I put 500 in, and one time I doubled it. So that's how much I have. Not very much, and that's just from January of this, or end of December, January of this year. But yeah, it's pretty fun to play the hold and see where it's going to be game. That's my strategy here. And by the way, this is not financial advice, just talking about my strategy, going over a little bit about what Bitcoin is. But don't take this as something that you should be doing in your life. If, I'll put it back up here. If this doesn't resonate with anything that's happening in your life, right? So if you think the risk is too high, I mean, don't do it. That's for sure. Because there's a lot of people out there that say this can either go to $13 million a coin, Michael Saylor from Strategy. But there are people that are saying this could go to $1 per coin, right? So it definitely is risky business for sure. I'm into it. I'm into that risk only because it is such a small portion of my value that's going in here, my life's value going in there, my time that's going into it. It's a very small portion. And I feel like that small portion is just risk enough to do it. Now, if this price drops dramatically, I'm probably going to up my risk a little bit because I do believe in its long-term growth. So let's continue on here with this right here. I'll bring that back up. So let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit more here. So why the jump from $1 to what we're talking about, $13 million potentially, all right? So a little bit of education about Bitcoin. I was doing a lot of reading. I knew a lot of this stuff already, but I was doing a lot of reading this morning. So there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin, right? So only 21 million Bitcoin exist. So right now they're trading at $119,000 per Bitcoin. But only 21 million exist. Now, they also have something called halving. So every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin mined is cut in half. reducing the supply growth, right? So you got these companies like Riot and Mara. So every 4 years, those are just examples. Every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin that's going to be mined is cut in half, right? So these companies are pushing hard right now to mine as much as they can because in 4 years from now, well, not from now, but every 4 years, that amount is going to be halved, right? And so they like to have Bitcoin in their arsenal to be able to pay the bills, to be able to, they see the value in Bitcoin going up here as well. We have something called adoption curve. Bitcoin is following patterns similar to how the internet spread, exponential growth in users, infrastructure, and then I think this is the big one, acceptance, right? It's just a lot more common to hear people owning Bitcoin right now. Um, I can talk about my group of friends. There's about I don't know, if I said there's 10 of us, there's probably two of us that are into Bitcoin right now. And then, you have two others that are into altcoins, that sort of thing, with a little touch of Bitcoin. How about your group of friends or family? Store of value thesis. So some see it replacing gold. Some call it the digital gold, or becoming a gold reserve asset, which could justify like extreme prices. The U.S. government now dipping in, all of these massive investment hedge funds and banks jumping into Bitcoin, into the crypto world, making it potentially more extremely valuable. And then it has this thing called a network effect. The more people that believe in it use it, and it becomes more valuable. You've seen company or countries adopting Bitcoin, right? And that's their currency now is Bitcoin. And so when Bitcoin was diving down, these countries weren't doing so well. But now that it's going up, they're doing well again, right? So I got a little some fun numbers here. Let's take a look here. So just some fun numbers. If you bought $10 worth in 2010, so that would have bought you about $3,333 Bitcoin. Remember, that was when Bitcoin was 0.03 cents. At today's value, that would be worth $196 million. What a fun little game to play, right? There is a famous story out there of somebody buying Bitcoin or buying pizza with Bitcoin. I bet you that person's probably kicking themselves. And I know of many famous people buying land with Bitcoin a few years ago. Just interesting stuff, I think, for sure. Now, I want to get to the personal stuff here. I started investing, my journey here, right? I started investing about 5 years ago today. That's crazy to think about. Before then, I was doing mutual funds and my RRSP work matches, stuff like that, right? And so it was around this date right here, August 28th of 2020, when Apple did a 4-for-1 split. And at that time, my dad, actually, it was a couple weeks before that. I think it was August 10th was the date. Maybe August 11th. I don't know, August 10th, but it was 2020. My dad said, hey, you got some cash hanging around. Let's go buy Apple together. And at the time, I didn't have a brokerage account. I gave him $10,000 US, and we went splitsies on whatever that was on Apple. I think it was around 52 shares. I don't know. Don't quote me. But at that point, August 28th, I went for a 4-for-1 split, and we were good to go. So I thought to myself today, what if I had taken that $10,000 and was a little bit of a wildcat and put it into Bitcoin? Where would it be? So I've got that number here. Let me just share that with you. Just scrolling down in my notes. Actually, I have it right up here for you guys. I'm going to scroll down in my notes. So investment recap, August 20th, I put 2020. So, give or take 10 days there. Bitcoin was worth $11,878. By the way, how are you doing so far? Are you guys keeping up with me? Are you enjoying the content? If you enjoy the content, hit the like, the subscribe. I'd love to talk to you more about this kind of stuff in the future. I find it interesting personally. That's why I'm making a video about it. But with the $10,000 invested on that date, you would have acquired 0.842 Bitcoin. So not even a full Bitcoin. Pretty darn close though. Which is pretty cool to see, right? So Value today, August the 11th of 2025. So as of today, Bitcoin is trading above 122,000. Now this is going up and down today quite a bit, with recent reports indicating it has surged past the mark amid strong institutional buying and bullish momentum, using that 122,000 as a conservative current price estimate. I mean, I don't know if that's conservative. I think 119,000 is conservative, but let's go with what we got here. I'm going to scroll down even further. I think I have to hit enter to bring that up for you guys. There we go. So that $10,000 just 5 years ago would now be roughly 102,000 to $103,000, right? We're talking 5 years here. 5 years later, a 10x return in my money. And I think to myself, well, I mean, there's a lot that's happened between 5 years ago and now. A lot in life's happened. I had a kid. I moved. Started a YouTube channel. Started really investing a lot more. And I've taken that 10 grand. I took it away from the Apple. You guys know what I'm buying now. It's now roughly $30,000. And so that's good, right? I've also incorporated new funds into that too. But I go all the way back to the beginning of this video and I think to myself, number one, I'll part with my money if it can make or save me money. That would have made me and saved me a lot of money, right? So number one, check mark for me. Number two, I'll give you money if you can save me time. That would have saved me a ton of time. I'm trying to retire as soon as humanly possible. That would have saved me, 5-10 years in the future if I had invested in Bitcoin 5 years ago. So check mark on number two. I'll give you money in exchange in any mitigation in risk. Well, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like it is still pretty risky here for sure. I've gone ahead here and I've actually opened up Coinbase's website. And so this is what I use to trade my Bitcoin. So you can see it sitting right there right now at $119,000. But I mean, on Coinbase, you can buy so many different crypto coins out there, up to 928 pages here. Hard time breathing. Oh my God, that's a lot of crypto, right? So I don't know if number three will necessarily resonate with me or you, but I mean, there's a risk there, right? And I am willing. Oh my goodness, I'm dropping microphones. I am willing to do the risk, right? And number four, if I'll give you money if it boosts my status. Wow, could you imagine if I was a whole Bitcoiner, my status, right? My cred, my street cred would be a lot more. That's for sure. But yeah, number four there as well. Number four doesn't really mean anything to me. I actually went on to this really cool website that I've shared with you guys before. Let me go ahead and open it up over here for you. It's this one right here. What is it? Dividendchannel.com. And I plugged in Apple. And I said, what would happen if I put that 10 grand into Apple? And I had to just left it there, right? Because I talked about what would happen if I put the 10 grand into Bitcoin and just left it there. I would be 10x my money right now. Well, I wanted to do the same thing here with Apple. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, so up top here, August 20th, 2020, 5 years ago, give or take, 9 days here. My starting share price, there it is, 118 bucks, and now it's at 229. You can see my shares. I did drip a little bit there. And I would be at $19,908 right now if I had just left it in there. So I'm pretty happy I didn't do that. I've come across I've built this account up even more than 19,000 on my own. So pretty happy I didn't leave it in there for my 10 grand. If it was my dad and I just leaving our money together, it would obviously be double that. But since then he's left it in there. He's very happy with his return on investment, and I'm very happy with my return on investment. But the point of this video is talking about Bitcoin. What we follow a lot is Misty, MSTY, and Michael Saylor is the CEO of Mr., which buys Bitcoin. He bought more Bitcoin today. 155 Bitcoin at $18 million, right? And so he now owns, his company, Mr. now owns 3% of all the world's Bitcoin. And so this is what happens whenever things become more scarce. It becomes more costly to buy it. As more gets bought, it becomes more volatile in terms of its cost. Right, it becomes more volatile. And for me, future looking here, I'm going to continue with my strategy. And my strategy is just to go ahead and stay within my means. And my means are to be able to pay my own bills every single 2 week period here, and one of those bills that I'm going to be paying is Bitcoin. My name is Mike. If you enjoyed the content, I hope you have the like, the subscribe, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Have a great night. Bye for now.